Hi everyone, it's Wendy here from Wendy's Art. I have a job to do today. We moved house a number of months ago and unbeknownst to me, the removalists had put a big hole in the back of one of my favourite paintings. This is my whale painting from many years ago, and I was looking at it the other day and noticed a hole. Okay, this is the hole that I'm talking about, and as you can see there's little frayed edges and things. So what you want to do is try and get that all as flat as possible, and then what I'm going to do is get a piece of the canvas. I've got a bit of canvas on a roll over there. I'm going to cut it off and make a piece to fit over here and glue it down. So that's what I'll do next. I've got a big roll of canvas, but I only need a little piece. So I'm just going to cut a piece that's big enough to cover that rip. Let me just cut a piece here. Okay, that should be plenty. Now, okay, so just going to neaten this up a bit. I don't need it super wide, but just wide enough, so I think I'll bring that up there. Yeah, so you just want to eyeball it and work out what you need to cover it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Gives me plenty of room either side. And as I said, just luckily this painting is quite textured on the other side, so a bump here and there isn't going to be a big deal. All right, so I will get some matte medium, but I'm just using one of those. Oh, need muscles. Okay, so I might just give that a bit of a shake first. So I'm going to put some matte medium down to start with. Just going to pour a little bit out. Okay, and just put the matte medium over where the little shape of canvas is going to go, a little bit longer each end. Okay, just flatten that down. Press that down and then just going to go over the top. Okay, and that will give it a nice supportive substrate on the back. And what we'll do is we'll just leave that to dry and then we'll be back. I've ended up, I had a problem with the canvas that I used the matte medium on to stick down because it kept curling up. So I've used some heavy jars and just a flat box that fit over the piece of canvas with a bit of plastic so the box didn't stick to the canvas. And now I'm just pulling off the plastic, and as you can see, still a bit damp. I'll leave it a bit longer, but it's nicely glued down now and nicely attached to the canvas. So when that's fully dry, what I'll do is turn the painting over and then just try and use a bit of colour on the front to hide any of the white marks, and it should be good. So we'll wait till that dries and continue. Okay, so this is what I'm left with. You can see here is the place where the patch was placed. I could leave it, but every time I look at it on the wall, my eyes go straight there. So I fixed the patch on the back, and now I'm just going to use some liquid gesso to try and fill in that hole or valley or strip or whatever. So I'll let that dry. And then I've got to come back and try and sort of match colours and it's a pain. Doesn't look so obviously just that area. I'll just I am going over this with the blue, but yeah, just maybe just a bit of tail splash there, that could be. Okay, so the gesso is now dry. I have these two Art Spectrum inks. So I'm just trying to look here. I think it's got a bit of turquoise, so spread a bit of that. Give it a bit of a spray. Let it spread with a bit of help. I'm going to give it a bit of blue as well. Then spray it over this way. Okay, not looking too bad. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, so might just leave that. Look at those air bubbles. Leave that to dry. And then come back and see if I need to do, I'm going to drop some of these white sort of watertight bubbles on it when the ink dries, but that's actually looking okay. Wait and see how it dries. So okay, that's the first round, and we'll let that dry and see what happens. But pleasantly surprised, to be honest. Okay, let's leave that and see what happens. Okay, so once it had dried, it looked quite dark, but I just kept sort of going to and fro, adding a little bit more ink. It was coming up a little bit differently textured, so I added a bit more gesso to try again. And let that dry, added a bit more ink again, little bit more ink again. And then I added some white spatter, as is consistent with the rest of the painting, just for water drops. And eventually I was pretty happy with how it looked. Looking at the whole painting, you can see it's sort of melded in quite well. And I have actually a bit of trouble even trying to find the spot now. So it was worth the effort. There was a lot of to and froing with waiting for it to dry, adding a bit more, but in all, I was pretty happy, so have a go if it ever happens to you. Thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and see you soon.